Morning, welcome back to DS Radio Shop. Our morning rag chew. Morning, Chavez, John, Matt, Bootlegger, Kevin, and M. Williams. How are you guys? So today, I suppose, we're going to start on the order of Cobra 29s. And got 25 of those we got to get done. So we'll get that order going today. Do a few. Move on to somebody else's stuff. Then we'll go back, do another few, etc. So we're going to be a very long video. We're going to do, I don't know, probably maybe 3 or 4 in one video. And then we'll do the same as we progress through them. We'll see how fast we can get through those. If it's moving right along, maybe I might do 4 or 5. So per video, but yeah, we got 25 of those we got to get done. So we're going to start them today and try to get them finished within the next few days here. So we'll see what happens with that. And don't know what we're going to run into. I'm sure I'll see all kinds of limiters, pull, coil, spread, all that good stuff. Speaking of which, we did put up another quiz this morning, so if you guys want to check that out as well. And don't forget to hit the bell, like, share, and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, guys, if you appreciate what I do. And also thank you for your support with this channel, because without the support, there's no purpose of having a channel. So I appreciate everybody's support with that too. And as far as the monetization, thank you all for watching the videos and sharing them as well with the thumbs up. Whether I get thumbs down doesn't really matter, but as long as you watch the videos, that's cool enough, because we are, it's from the 21st to the 21st how it falls for the monetization. And we are currently, a little over 3,000 right now for that, so thank you. Appreciate all your support with those as well. Excuse me. And so I don't know, I suppose we can do a hot topic as to coil spreading. Everybody knows you should never spread coils, but for the shops who continue to do this, well, then it is what it is. So when you spread coils, you might see a little increase on your watt meter, signal strength meter, the radios meter, whatever meter that you got in place. So, but that doesn't mean you're going to get more power out. It just means you're splattering. You see a little increase on a meter. So you might have a little, like another watt or 2 or so going out, but that's not going to be going out 100% where you think it's going to go. It's going to be kind of splattering wherever it wants. It's going to spread. So when you guys see coils and radios, don't touch them. They are designed as a low pass filter, what we call LPF. So now when you get into HF radios, they're a lot more sophisticated. CB radios, they're just kind of a generic setup. But what they use them for, if you guys pay attention, then you'll be able to get the quiz right that we posted this morning as well. It's kind of an easy one anyhow. So the what was I going to say? Anyhow, so the LPF, the low pass filter circuit, those coils in the back of a radio are used as traps. What that does is your 54 megahertz coil it's there to absorb and dissipate the heat from the 27 megahertz coming through. So that way you can allow all of your power on that frequency, your fundamental, stay at its fundamental. When you start messing around and you start playing with those coils and mess with the 54 megahertz traps, what we call traps, those coils are traps, then what happens, you're changing the circuit. You're causing splatter. You're going to change waveform. Your 54 megahertz, your coil there, your 54 megahertz coil, that's designed as your second harmonic. So you have to set that at its bare minimum so it can take the most and absorb the most of the 27 megahertz signal coming through, dissipate the heat off, and allow that clean signal to come out on your fundamental frequency, which is what the frequency in which you are using. So if you're on channel 21, then 100% of your power is on 21. Now, if you mess with that coil, the 54 megahertz coil, or any of the coils for that matter, even the 27 megahertz traps, then what happens is it changes your harmonics, it changes your waveform, it changes everything to the point where now your fundamental frequency, again at this point, we're using channel 21, 27.215000, this is channel 21, the CB band. And what's happening is when you start messing with the coils and you look, you're not going to have 100% of that power. If you look at the spectrum analyzer, you will see when you measure it on those machines, you will see clearly that the signal is splattering. You're going to cause spurious emissions. You're going to cause all kinds of problems. And that's where your distortion comes in. So when you think, oh, hey, I got another 3, 4, 5 watts out of this radio. No, you really didn't, because did you get it? Yes, but where's it going? Not on your fundamental. So in a way, it's actually what they call ghost or fake watts. You're chasing watts that don't exist. It exists as to being there, but for what you're getting and where it's going, you're losing power. You might see an increase on your watt meter, but you're actually losing power because it's not controlled anymore onto your center frequency, your fundamental frequency, which is in this case 27.215000 is the one we use when we do our alignment procedure. So when you guys have the coils and whatnot you see inside radios, don't touch them. Just because it says spread the coil to get more power, you don't. And a lot of that stuff is inside your CB tune-up books. And they tell you, yeah, spread these coils, you get more power. Whoever wrote those books back then should have never put that in, because now a lot of people just spread coils. Now, limiters. Audio limiters work the same. When you have a limiter, it's exactly what the word means, limit. It means you limit yourself to something, right? So you don't want to cut limiters, because when you do that, now you open the door, you open the circuit. And what happens by doing so, it allows the audio to give full blast. There's no more limitations or control of the audio circuit. It controls everything. So when you have a limiter you cut or remove, then that gives full bore audio, which means you're slamming through the mic amp circuit all the way down through to your audio chip. You're slamming that audio signal into the chip, and eventually you're going to burn out your chip. And 99% of those chips in most of your CB radios are only 5.8 watts to begin with. So when you start over amplifying the front end as it goes in, you're going to destroy the chip. So you don't want to take, we'll say 7, I'm just going to make up a fake number, like 7 watts of audio and put it into a 5.8 watt chip. It doesn't work, right? You've already exceeded it. But the theory behind this is what happens, the point I'm making is the audio you drive, control that, keep it clean, because whatever clean goes in, your audio amplified chip only does one thing. It amplifies. So think of it like a linear. A linear is a stupid piece of equipment because it can only do one thing. What you put in is what it amplifies going out. It doesn't know if it's clean. It doesn't know if it's dirty. It just knows, oh, I got a signal coming in. I got to amplify that signal to my maximum performance. That's it. It doesn't know if it's clean. It doesn't know if it's dirty. So an audio chip does the same aspect of things. Your audio going in, you have to control that with an AMC, your automatic or your AM modulation control. So you have to keep the limiter in circuit in order to achieve good clean modulation as you adjust it. If you do not, then you're going to cause splatter, which means now dirty signal goes in, dirty signal comes out. If you got clean signal going in, that's what makes your radio sound so crystal clear and loud and intelligible. I mean, everything's going to be beautiful with that radio. And when they come off my bench, that's exactly what we do. We make them 100% perfect to where they have to be aligned and tuned the right way and clean. So let's say you got a radio that does 35 watts max, all decked out, but it's dirty. Okay, so let's say out of that 35 watts, we get it all aligned tuned, put everything back in where it belongs, and we get that thing rock and rolling 100% clean, and we're down to 28 watts. So what? So you lost 7 watts. Who cares? That 7 watts you're going to cry over? That 7 watts is splattering across channels. You're not getting the full 7 watts you think you're going to get on your fundamental frequency, your center frequency, right? So you're going to lose that 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 channels above and below from your fundamental. So it's very important that you understand when you take and get things set up, and if it is at 28 watts, well, then that's 28 watts of 100% pure, clean, good power. So I'd rather have the 28 watts over the 35, because the 35 is going to splatter that extra 7 watts, right? So you see how this goes. So it's very important. The biggest problem I think we see, well, I shouldn't say think, I know, is that most people who get into the hobby and they want to learn, it's a great thing, and I encourage everybody to want to get in there and learn. But the biggest key thing you have to do is really understand how to read schematics, okay, and how to understand the symbols and what you're looking at. Now, reading schematics, it's a chore. When you get the hang of it, it doesn't take much to understand. You just got to understand. It's like a Greek language or something. If you've never done it before, and you look at that like, where do I begin? How do I know? What do we do? So you will understand voltage doublers, all kinds of things in circuits, right? So things will switch on and off. Things will go this way, that way, da-da-da, how it loops back around. So if you can understand how to read a schematic, then you can move forward. So, Buster? So it's very important to A, understand how to read a schematic. B, understand how to what the symbols are. C, understand the path in which your signal travels through. And then D, most importantly, understand how to use your test equipment so you can troubleshoot through that, put it all together, read it a block diagram as well, and that will get you where you need to be. If you don't understand all of that and it's just too much because you don't want to take the, we'll say like a 4-year college term, you don't have to, I'm just making an example for a analogy. You know, let's say, you know, you just want to do it right now, just get on your own and dive right in. Okay, that's cool. Or let's say a person who takes a 4-year college term and really takes his time to learn, then that's the better way to go. So in other words, if it takes you a year, 2, 3 to really want to learn at your own pace at home, then that's okay. But if you're trying to get this in the next 30 days and you just want to start making money because you want to get customers in there and say, see, I can do this, man, you're going the wrong way. You're going to damage your radio. You're going to cause more harm than good because you don't understand how the radio is functioning, why it's functioning. I mean, you want to take a brand new car and start pulling parts out because someone says, pull it out, modify it with this thing right here, you're going to get better gas mileage. You wouldn't do that. Engineers design things to work exactly the way they're supposed to work. If that wasn't the case, none of it would be approved, first of all. It wouldn't be on the market, second of all. And third, you wouldn't be able to, everybody would be modifying things to go against whatever that's got to do, right? So anytime you make a modification, always know what are you modifying, why are you modifying, and what are the effects after you modify it. That's the biggest thing right there. So, but yeah, if you guys want, anybody wants to, I mean, anybody can learn. I've seen kids, 10, 12, 13, 14 years old, dive right in and start learning too. See, buddy, love you. Have a great day. And so I think it's important that you got to learn things the right way. Don't rush into it. Don't dive into it. Like I always use this analogy. This is only one of my favorite ones. I always tell people, you wouldn't want to buy an airplane you can't fly, which means you dove in too quick, too deep, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to be able to learn, understand, and then you can grow into the hobby, right? So And that's what I've done for 39 years. I mean, it took me a long time to earn my spot. Not just take a spot, but to earn my spot, which is why I've been here for so long. And there's a lot of shops that come and go because they look for that quick dollar. That's all they see is a dollar. They don't want to look at the fact of learning because it takes too long. Well, knowledge does not come to you overnight. It takes time. And it's a good payoff when you absorb that knowledge and you understand what you've got for knowledge, and you can move forward and share your knowledge and show how things work. By doing all of this, everything comes together, and that's the way you want it. See, so when I explain to people all the time about coils and limiters and what you see, and like variable power, if the engineer, excuse me, if the engineers design the radio with the right components to put it in, then okay. Some people think, well, I'll just put a potentiometer on the front of the radio here and just do this, and whatever, right? Tap into things. You get a very dirty signal. You're not going to get good, clean power. Your audio, it's going to change waveform somewhere. It's going to change the waveform when you start adding variable power to radios, unless you really build a nice circuit to control it. So even then, you're kind of iffy because when you start changing that carrier level, it changes waveform. Some people think that, well, I just want to change it from a dial a watt, from 1 watt to 5 watt, but your output's going to change. The formation of what your modulation looks like, that whole waveform is going to change, and they don't understand that. They still want these variable powers put in. And I have a gentleman who, was writing to me and says, well, how come you didn't put those in my radio? As I explained to him before, you can't put those in radios and expect to have 100% performance. It's going to splatter. It's going to cause problems. Not all the time, but it will change waveform. That's a guarantee. How much will it change? That varies. That determines. It varies. It could change a little bit. It could change a lot. All depends. But adding variable power to a radio, not a bad thing. But again, if you're looking for a good, clean radio, I would not suggest you put those in because it does change waveform to a point. Now, if you have a radio that already has variable power into it from the factory, that's different because they've already got the right componentry in circuit to control all of that nature from your low to your high. It still changes waveform regardless, but you can keep a clean waveform because they've already got the right componentry in circuit, again, for your lows and your high. Okay, so there's a big difference when engineers already designed and built that inside of a radio opposed to a radio that does not have it and you want to install a variable power to that. So there you have it, guys. Many different tricks, many different things you can learn, many things you can do, but understanding what the outcome is going to be, that's the whole key thing right there. It's not a secret. It's all open knowledge. Google it wherever you want to go. But the biggest thing are 3 steps. Understanding what you're about to do and what are the effects. I can't say it any more clear than that. So, pretty straightforward, right? So that's what you are looking to do and understand for sure. So what we got here? Anybody I've talked to says the radio is clear and loud. I have not heard anyone say it's bad sounding. Good, then that means you got a good talking radio then. Yeah, Matt says you're not going to notice at 5 watts. Nope, you're not going to. Nope. No. If you take the dirty watts away, you make it clean, you lose 5 watts or 7 watts, you're not going to notice the difference. You'll notice it's going to be a lot cleaner going out. You get a lot better results, but you're not going to see it as a loss. You're not really going to notice it. No. How we doing, Ricky? I like what Bootlegger says. You gotta crawl before you can walk. Well, so typically, yes, I would agree with that. However, it's not always the case. And I say that because my oldest daughter, when she was little, she always sat on her butt. Well, we always said scooch. She kind of scooched, like kind of, take your legs. If you're sitting Indian style, she'd kick her legs out and kind of pull herself, right? She would scooch across the floor. She never crawled. She went from sitting up to a scooching, and then she took the one big leap of faith and decided to climb up along the side of the couch and hold herself up, and she's looking at my parents and one of their good friends who was with us for a while before he passed on, and she kind of just sat there smiling. Of course, I missed out. I was on night shift that time, which really upset me, but they sent me a video. It was very cute. I mean, I actually started breaking down in tears that night. My boss says, "What's the matter?" I says, "You gotta see this, man. This is so beautiful." He said he was just about teary-eyed too, because it was really cute. So my daughter went from sitting up to scooching to literally taking a couple of steps of walking, and when she realized, oh, I got some feet, what are these legs gonna do? She used to just start running back and forth, and she was only maybe, oh my God, 2 years old, like a year and a half, 2 years old, and she was running back and forth. So she never even had the chance to crawl. Now my other two kids, yes, they crawled before they, stood up to walk and whatever else. But no, she went from sitting up to scooching on her butt to wearing out those diapers, and she went to from that point stood up a couple of steps, and she fell down once, got back up after a couple of steps, and she just started walking a couple of steps. And I said, she's running back and forth 4 or 5 feet back and forth between mom, dad, and then dad and his friend, and mom and their friend. And it's like, goodness gracious, this girl's on fire. So she was. We always call her the scoocher. She scooched before she walked. She never even really had a chance to walk, like 2 steps. That was about it. She scooched and then ran. So that was pretty cute. Yeah. Your son did the same thing, Matt? Yeah. Yeah. It's fun when you watch kids grow up like that. Absolutely. Yeah. Skip the crawling. They must be smart. Skip the crawling. What the hell? We're going to go right to run mode. So, yeah. Yeah. Ricky says, do they sell a noise-canceling microphone? Yes, they do. Many great microphones. They've got the 636 static is a noise-canceling microphone. Those are very good microphones. You can also get they make them, it's called Shure, Shure. If you can get your hands on one of those, they're very rare to find, but high quality noise canceling microphone right there. So if you can get your hands on one of those there, then they outdo just about anything on the market. What is the other one? RK56, but you want to make sure you don't find the knockoff version. Those are no good. You can tell by the weight. The RK56 will say a true Telex RK56 on the back of it. It's got a good weight to it. There's an audible transformer on the inside. What's the other one there? I can't think of the next one. Actually, I got one right here. Let me see what we got. Okay, that was made by Shure too. It's a 577B as in boy. If you look up one of those, 577B as in boy. Those are a heavy handheld mic, but they are one of the best on the market. They use those a lot of times for ham, but they work excellent on CB as well. You can put those just about on any radio, and they work great. You have to, if you're going to use it on CB, it has a, because you're going to change the impedance, it's got a capacitor on the inside. You just have to move, I think, 1 or 2 wires and a cap around the one lead. That's it, and you can use it for the CB band. So yeah. Yeah, don't touch the new RKs. They're all junk. Those are knockoffs. Stay away from all the knockoffs. It's hard to find the original. They don't make them anymore. Hello, Chad. How are you? I don't have nothing on the what do you call it? 710. I don't have nothing on that just yet. He ain't gotten in touch back with me here, but I do have the Kenwood 570D. That's all set to go. Open band, everything else. If you're interested in a 570D, I do have one of those. I just did a video on it last Saturday night. Yeah, Saturday night when I think we're on that. If you want to check out the video, so we do have that available. Why, thank you, Kevin. Good morning. How are you? Morning, Steve. Always a pleasure to see you guys on. Hope everybody has a safe travel to your commute to work. We were watching videos last night on close encounters with motorcyclists, this, that, and the other, deer. How they, when the bike sped up to go down this one road, it's a good thing he did, because if he had gone any slower, the way that deer came out, he definitely would have been in a rough position, but he just missed the deer. I think the tail hit the mirror on the left side of the bike as it went past. I think the tail just barely brushed that mirror. It was like perfect timing. Talk about pure luck. Wow, he got lucky. We're watching some of the cars sliding down on ice, doing these 360 turns, and by the time he came to a stop, literally had like an inch or two before it hit the next car parked on the side of the road. That's like, wow. So, yeah. So hope everybody has a safe commute back and forth from working. You know, watch out for those deer, for sure. And everybody, please pay attention, okay? Stay off your phones. Use your hands-free set, if you could, while out and about. Because this week, all week, everywhere, your troopers, all your cops are hammering down. Of course, you got registration, insurance, suspended license issues, DWIs. Their biggest drawback is no animals on your front seat, no animals on your lap. In other words, they must be restrained somewhere in your car. Nobody with seatbelts off. And the biggest thing they're looking for are cell phones. If they see people with cell phones. Now, they have been pulling people over left and right. Got to get your quote. Got to rob the taxpayers, okay? And so they get you for more money, right? They want to damage you because they don't want to see you succeed. I mean, you want to be a safe driver. If you're doing something wrong, obviously it is what it is. It's on you. But I'm waiting for them to pull me over because it's going to be a cold day in hell. They're not going to get what they want. This happened to a couple of guys recently, and they got pulled over. And we all started laughing because he says, when he told us what had happened, and he showed us the video, we just started laughing. And so those cops got owned. Not 1, 2, 3, but 4 cops got owned. Because they, and legally you cannot be stopped more than 15 minutes, otherwise it becomes unlawful detainment unless they have a reasonable reason to hold you there longer. So you guys got to know your constitutional rights, number 1, okay? Always do what you're told to do. Don't argue with them, but know your rights. And so these 4 officers were just tyrants. And what happened was the guy was on his radio, and the microphone he used for his VHF was a small microphone. They thought it was a cell phone. So when they pulled him over, he says, "You know why I pulled you over?" He goes, "I have no idea. I wasn't doing nothing wrong. What'd you pull me over for?" Because you're on your phone. He says, "No, I'm not. How can I be on my phone? My phone's over there on the DMC on charge. I'm talking on the radio." They said, "No, you're not." "Yes, I am." And then he got on the radio and says, "Guys, how long have I been talking to you?" "Hell, we've been traveling for like the last 45 minutes talking on the radio." "What's the problem?" "Well, these cops right here said I ain't talking to you guys." And so it became one big argument. And finally, after a while, they all settled down and he was released. No tickets, no nothing, because they were trying to hold him. And they said, "Well, no, your tail light." He said, "My tail lights are fine." He says, "Well, your registration, you know, this, that, and the other, your inspection." He goes, "I got time. I got another 4 or 5 months to go yet before my registration comes up and the inspection's already been done." He says, "You're just pulling out things right now. You're trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat you're not going to find." And so these cops were trying to do everything they could. One went as far as saying, "I got to search your car because I smell something." He says, "You don't smell nothing besides your ego. Get the hell away from my damn car." This guy knew his rights, and that's very important. Don't be the badass, but understand your rights. And so they all just left after, you know, he says like I don't know, he was there for about 20 minutes. And he says legally he could sue them because that's unlawful detainment. You have no reason, you have no purpose of pulling over. It was already proven that you did not have a cell phone in your hand. You're on the radio. You've got 4 or 5 guys on the radio you're talking to that backed you up. And this guy swears up and down, no, you were on the phone. And 3 other cops said, oh, okay, he says you're on the phone. We got to write your ticket. Yeah, right. And the one officer tried to open his door, and his door was locked. He says, do not touch my door again, or you're going to have hell to pay. Well, now the cop took that as a threat. Says, now I'm going to detain you. He says, you cannot, because it wasn't a threat. See, you can take it any way you want. That's the problem with the world today. People want to take things the wrong way. If a cop had put their hand on me, I would give them 2 seconds. Remove your hand now. If I wasn't doing anything wrong, and you're going to try to reach in my car and unlock my door, or you're going to try to grab my hand, whatever reason, then I'm going to grab your hand, and I'm going to pull you away, because there's no such law. If you guys read your laws and understand the laws, no such law says an officer has the right to put his hand on you, and you can't put your hand back on them to remove their hand from you in a safe way. But what they're going to do is turn around and say, no, now it's assault. Now they want to put you for a felony charge, right? But anyway, so just be safe out there, guys. Pay attention. Be safe. Don't be on your phones. Let's get hand-free set. As these 4 officers learned the hard way, that they cannot get this guy for nothing. They try to get him for a tail light. Nothing wrong with the tail light. Try to get him for registration. Nothing wrong with registration. Try to get him for inspection. Nothing wrong with the inspection. You know, all this nonsense you're just trying to pull out. The guy says, originally you pulled me over for what reason? And then he said, because you're on the cell phone. Then what are you trying to go after all these other stuff for? It's got nothing to do with the damn reason of doing this. So he finally shut the cops right on down. But be careful, be safe, because who knows what you're going to run into. They're all hard up to get these tickets out to make money.
I'm very concerned.
What's the matter?
Those things in the back. That's not poop, because that's their poop.
What the hell is that?
I have no idea. I literally came out here to ask you that question.
Huh.
I don't want to dump it out and then find out if it's like...
Oh, that is actually poop.
I don't think so.
It is. Yeah, you can see it because it's kind of formation. Yeah, it looks like a foot or something. No, it is.
It looks like a baby.
No, it's not. No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it too long?
Are they using that at all or no?
No.
Well, how they get that inside? They got to be using it.
It wasn't there last night.
Well, they were probably inside doing a bird bath or something.
Dad, I really don't think that's poop because their poops are small.
It can be. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It is. My daughter's got 2 little parakeets, and she got a bird bath for them. And she's looking inside to see what the hell something was floating. I said, it's just some bird poops. That's it. So, yeah, Ricky says, do you repair HF radios? Yes, I do. Good morning, Denny. How are you? Yes, we do. Yeah. You have an old ICOM that needs work. What's the model number of the ICOM? I don't work on tube equipment, only solid state. So if you got tubes inside, I don't work on those. But as long as it doesn't have any tubes, it's all solid state, then yes, I do work on them. Kenwood, ICOM, Alinco, Yaesu, all the above. However, I do not work on amplifiers either. So if you got any amplifiers, just in case that may or may not be your upcoming question, I do not work on amplifiers because too many people went overdrive, they blow them up, then it's always, hey, can you fix my amplifier again? It's like, I had enough of that. God, it actually put me 2.5 years behind there for a while, and now we're caught up to about 10 months behind, so we're still getting caught up on repairs, but I don't want to get involved with the amplifier repair because it's one of those things where, you know, I fix your amplifier, it's working great, leave it alone. And then the common story is like, you know, you tell your teacher, my dog ate my homework, right? Well, the common little story I keep hearing from most of these guys, it's always got to be, well, my wife was cleaning and disconnected the radio, and I got 2 radios on the damn tabletop. She put the wrong one back in line. I didn't know it. Oh, yeah, okay, haha, whatever. So in other words, you overdrove it, but you're going to blame your wife. You're going to throw her under the bus. That's what you're doing, right? And that's what it came down to a lot of the times where a lot of the husbands would throw their wives out there for bait and say it's their fault, you know, and it wasn't. It was actually the husband's fault for just overdriving it, and now they expect to have the amplifier fixed right away, and it's like, I am not doing that no more. So we don't work on amplifiers anymore. We quit doing that about 3 years ago. Got too many people that don't know what the hell they are doing. If you have an amplifier, first of all, let's go back to this. If you want an amplifier, Set it up the right way. If you can't set it up the right way, and you're going to keep moving radios back and forth and want to drive it with this radio and that radio, you're looking for trouble. Just set it up and leave it alone. Like the old cook machine, right? Set it and forget it type thing. Just put your amplifier in circuit with whatever radio that you want to drive, get it set up nice and clean, and leave it alone. Just let it be. That will be your future drive radio for this amplifier. Don't change it. A lot of guys, nope, I want to put this radio on that amplifier. I want to try this radio on that amplifier. Just pick one. Goodness gracious, just pick one radio, one amplifier. If that's what you want to do, is your desired thing, and be done with it. So, ICOM 751 Alpha. Those are nice radios. Yep. Yippers. What's it doing or not doing? What are my rates? $1.2 million to look at it, $7.5 million an hour, and about $1 billion to do the repairs. That's my rate. So in other words, we don't have rates. We don't have bench fees. We don't do hourly rates. No, we don't do that garbage. Those are for scam shops. They feel like they have to get paid whether they fix it or they don't, or they just look at it. Those are people who are desperate for money, and they look at it like, well, I got to have this. It's overhead. No. You should be able to identify a problem within 15, 20 minutes, no more than 30 minutes. And unless you're really troubleshooting further and you get stuck. But if you're already in it to fix it and you're looking to fix it, then okay. But if you're just looking to test it, customer says, don't fix it, just test it, tell me what it is, you should be pretty much able to figure that out within about 15, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. Say, okay, here's about where we're going to go with it, and this is what's going to cost you. It should not take you all day long to narrow that down, just to at least give you a basic, very plain, simple, preliminary thing and say, okay, hey, your radio's not transmitting. Okay, well, here's the reason why. Done. I can pretty much identify that pretty quickly. Or if it's not receiving, okay, well, here's your problem. Okay, so now if they give you permission to repair it, well, that might take hours to repair, because you could be running into problems such as like I did with the Grant the other day. I'm still playing with, but he wants it fixed, so that's what we're doing. But yeah, so I mean, it's depending on what's going on with your radio. I mean, the alignment is 125. That's about the only rates we really have are just on the alignment. So to go through a complete alignment procedure for any HF radio is 125, which also includes a reflow of the soldering, if any needs to be done, and clean all controls as well. So you get the alignment procedure, reflow, solder joints, and wherever I see a bad solder joint, I pull the boards, I go through, and then also the cleaning of all the controls and functions. That covers all within it, plus your shipping. Anything additional for repair parts, well, then whatever the parts are is what you pay. But as far as bench fee, no. Hourly rates, no. We don't believe in that. If you're desperate, you need to get a real job then, because if you rely on oh my God, I'd be rich if I were to sit here and charge $50 every time just look at a damn radio and tell you whether or not I can fix it. I can sit here all day long, and maybe I just don't want to fix it. Maybe I just want to be lazy, and say, nope, I'm not going to fix nothing today. And everybody who comes in, yep, $50. Let's say we get 10 people to step in. Nope, can't fix it today. It's going to cost us this. $50, please. I mean, if you want to be there, there's a lot of shops. I've heard of a lot of shops who do this. They charge a $50 bench fee to look at it. Some charge $75, but the most part, I always hear the common number is $50. They charge you $50 just to look at it, and then they tell you, no, yeah, it's going to cost too much to this. But, in other words, they just don't want to fix it, or they don't know how, or they don't give a damn, but they get the $50 regardless of what the answer is. And some of these guys have no idea what they're even looking at. They look it over. I've seen a CB shop do this once. He had an HF radio, it was a Kenwood 450. The guy brought in. He looked it over. He goes, within like 5 minutes, says, yeah, no, it's going to cost too much to get fixed, but $50 for looking at it, please. It's like, you didn't even look at you don't even know what the hell you're looking at. When he opened the cover, he just stared at it like, oh shit, I got in too deep. I don't know what the hell, where do I even begin? I don't know what to look at. I can see that all over his face. So I'm just sitting there shaking my head thinking, wow, this guy really doesn't know what he's doing. And so he didn't last very long. He was a truck stop down at the a CB shop at the truck stop at the Petro, exit 41. They only lasted about 3 years. So they didn't know what the hell they were doing. So they're kind of one of those peek and tweakers. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. So, but that was funny. But yeah, no, a lot of guys that do this, I mean, say you got 10 guys that show up. That's 10 radios, $50 a shot. Well, hell, You know, that's $500 in your pocket, and you didn't have to do a damn thing. Can you imagine? Just continue on, and you know, if you did that, you know, 5 days a week, that's a lot of money in your pocket, and you didn't have to do nothing. Just sit on your lazy butt and nope, 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 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. You know? Can you imagine? I don't want to give nobody any bad ideas, but that's exactly what I've ran into many times. I've seen people do this, so I don't do that. The guy who taught me the same thing, of course, the way I was raised, we don't do these things. We're very honest, we're very transparent, and we're very upfront. But yeah, a lot of these guys are just stupid. They're money hungry, and they'll do whatever it takes, or they use big words, and they try to rearrange a different definition to make it look like they know what they are talking about. They do a lot of Google search, they do a lot of listening on different YouTube channels, and they try to use these big fancy words and formulas to make it look like they know what they're doing, but they really don't. So pay attention. Always pay attention, guys, for sure. Yep. Yeah, the mud duck. Oh, yeah. He would never answer a basic question. Nope. I mean, I'm live stream, guys. We're not editing it. I don't edit nothing here. It's all live stream. What you see is what it is. Yeah. All right. So everything I do right here is editing. I mean, editing. It's all live. We don't edit. So everything we do is completely 100% live. We don't edit nothing. Huh? Okay. So we don't. What are you doing? Come here. Come here. The little doggy come out. Okay. So we don't. Yeah, we don't edit nothing. We have everything all live stream right here. So we just tell it how it is, and we answer questions right here on the spot. We don't play games. I don't have time for games. Games are for kids. That's when we were all young and we grew up and have some good fun. You know, back then, there's a day where you got to take your diapers off and you got to kind of become a man and say, you know what, got to move on. Got to do some fun stuff. Okay, we got to have a little bit of welcoming committee. What do you think? Welcoming committee. Say hello. Hi. Tell them how it is, Mambo. Tell them how it is. That's what he says. He says, nope, I'm not telling them nothing. Because unless they want to learn, look me in the eye. Let me sniff you out. They look me into the eye and tell me you want to learn. Anyways. Alright, guys, enough of this fun. I got to get some work done because it's 7:30 almost. And like 25 after 7, and I got to get things going. I got a lot of Cobra 29s I got to get accomplished today. I got to finish up on this here 2600. HR 2600, I got to finish that up. I got the parts here Greg had sent. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Greg. So we're going to get those going here pretty fast as well. So, yeah. And then we're going to go from there. Chad says, radio inspector in the house. Yes, he is. Absolutely. Radio inspector right there in the house. Yepers. He's right here. He's going to inspect. Who's on the camera? He says, I don't want to work. I want to go play. All right, we got to let him down. He wants to go play. Got to go outside use the bathroom probably first. Alright, guys, on that note, everyone be safe, enjoy your day, and I'll be back shortly here with a video of 29s. I'm going to put this one aside here for a moment, this 2600. Get on these Cobra 29s, and I'm going to go back to this. I got to get the chip taken out because the chip that was used is no good. So we got to take this back out, put the correct one in, and hope those are new old stock. So hopefully these are good, and we will take care of that and get this thing to function on all bands. So for 10, 11, 12 meters, I should cover 12, at least 10, 11 meters anyway. So, but that is our ideas. In the meantime, settle up. Gonna be a nice ride today. We have a whole pile of Cobra 29s to get done. I got some 25s to do, but we got a bunch of Cobra 29s. We got to get that order done. So I gotta get moving with these here. So we're gonna have a couple long videos of. We'll see how many we get done before we gotta move on to something different today. I don't want to spend the whole day doing just those, but we're gonna get what we can done, and we'll just do a little each time and kind of go from there, etc. So, yippers, what do we got here? All right, Chad, take care. See you later. See, Dad off 665. Have a good one. See you later. Ricky says, made the mistake by sending the radio to another shop, paid hundreds of dollars, and still not working. Yeah, give me a shout and let me know what you got going on there with that radio, and we'll see what we can do for you. Here is my number in the chat. So if you scroll through the chat, you'll see my cell phone number. Give me a shout and let me know what you got. I'll be if you want to call right now, you can. I'm going to be a few minutes before I start my video. Anyways, I got about a half an hour before I start the videos on my next jogger for the 29s to get started. So if you want to give me a call this morning, you can do that. If you want to do it later on today, whatever you want to do, that's up to you. Whenever you got time, but let me know what you got going on with your radio, and we'll see what we can do to help you out and give you an idea of what it may or may not be, what it's going to cost, etc. And you can kind of go from there. So, but all right, guys, I'll see you later. Enjoy your day. I'll be back shortly. Look for me about a half an hour here. 7:30 right now, so 8 o'clock or shortly before, we'll be out here with a Cobra 29 pile of fun in the sun. See you soon here at the DH Radio Shop.